You called down the thunder, well now you got it. So run, you cur. Run! Tell all the other curs the law's coming! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Welcome to the Dynasty 5 podcast, a show discussing the most decorated program in the history of sport, the Oklahoma State Cowboys wrestling program. I'm your host, Lee Cothran, and today we are going to be joined by an incoming freshman here for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. He is a two-time Oklahoma State champion, captured titles at 157 pounds and 165 pounds for the Edmond North Huskies. He's a four-time state medalist, 2022 Fargo national champion, multiple-time All-American at national tournaments, including runner-up at the U.S. Open, finalist at Super 32. You name it, he's been on the podium for it. Geary, outstanding wrestler. He was ranked among the top 30 in every recruiting service in the class of 2025. He was the first commitment for David Taylor and company out of high school. So Kody Routledge, thank you so much for joining the program. Really excited to chat with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, Dayton is in the thick of things, working with Jax Forrest to get him ready for his upcoming bout with Vito Arujau in Fargo this coming weekend. We're recording this on July 9th. This probably isn't going to come out for a couple weeks, though. So this is going to be old news and all that fun stuff by then. But Dayton's unfortunately not joining us today. Bigger fish to fry for him. Yep. But yeah, talk to us a bit about how this summer has been going. You know, all the new faces in the room, big recruiting class of 2025, and things seem to be in full swing for the Cowboy wrestling program, the Cowboy RTC, Pokes Wrestling, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So like you said, lots of new faces. Most of our 2025 guys are moved in, started summer classes. So the room is really crowded. Like right now we have some of the Chinese Olympian guys. We have Olympian guys, world team guys in the room. All sorts of guys training. Speaking of new faces, Zach Ryder just transferred in. That's my roommate. I just moved in with him not too long ago. So guys like that. So it's just very, very new team, but it doesn't feel new at all. Like everyone's going towards the same goal. The room, high energy, all that stuff, and everything's going well.
Amazing stuff, Kody. Well, that's really good to hear. It's awesome to hear that you're getting some top tier training partners here, and everybody is, and definitely excited to see some of this fruit start to bloom here as we get into world tournament season. It looks like, touch wood, right? But there could be as many as 3 guys in that room in the 57 kg, or well, I guess there are going to be 3 guys in the room in the 57 kg bracket. There will be hopefully one for 61, a lot of guys on the senior level, but then at the U20 and stuff, there's going to be a lot of faces as well. So really, really cool stuff. Let's roll the clock back a little bit and talk more about your origins in wrestling. When did you first start wrestling, and what got you into the sport?
So I went to my first wrestling practice at the Del City Wrestling Club when I was 5 years old. So it's kind of a full circle moment, especially coming to Oklahoma State now, because you go to Del City and John Smith's, all over the walls and stuff like that. So I thought that was always cool, but I knew nothing about it. My dad took me to a practice, and I was always really competitive. Like I played every sport I could when I was younger, and wrestling I thought was a fun one. And just kind of stayed in it as a hobby, I guess, until I got older. But yeah.
Great. So what do you remember about those early practices or tournaments as far as your performance and learning the sport? And If it was just fun at that point, right? Like that's a good way to start. What made it so fun for you? Did you win a lot?
Um, I mean, I won a good amount. I don't even think it was really about the winning. I think it was just fun, like being at tournaments, sitting in the stands and not even the wrestling. Like you're with your team and you're either playing games or you guys are playing football under the stands or, playing Subway Surfers on the iPad, like whatever it was just kind of something to do. And I thought I feel like we would practice so much that my first tournament I went to, like when you drill, right, you take someone down and you let them up and you just get back to your feet. I had wrestled my teammate my like second match, and we were just taking each other down and letting each other up, and they had to stop the match because we were just drilling in the middle of the match. So I think like at that time I didn't even really know it was like competition. It just kind of felt like that's something we were doing.
I love that. So how much do you think that impacted you and your development then? I mean, if because that seems to be a differentiator with guys who love the sport and have success in it, is that it's in the early days, it's exactly what you just said. It's drilling. It's not really a competition. You're just trying to have fun. How much do you think that helped you grow in the sport?
Yeah, I think it helped me a lot, but it definitely wasn't just a, one way up. There were a lot of ups, downs, and I think anybody who's ever wrestled will tell you it's not always fun.
Mhm.
And my dad was super, super competitive. He never let me do anything if I wasn't trying to win, like whether it's taking out the trash or running up a hill. Like I could never just do anything and just kind of I think there's a good balance, and I think my parents did a good job of that. But early on, yeah, it was like I didn't even like register in my brain that it was really a competition. But I mean, there were, like I said, ups and downs. Like growing up, there were some times where like the sport just sucked and it felt like it's just hard. A 9-year-old kid and you're going to practice every night, sometimes 2 times a day. It's a grind, but I think it's definitely the best sport in the world for that reason. Like there's truly nothing like it. It has shaped me to completely who I am. Even if I don't wrestle ever again, it has completely, changed my life.
Nice. Well, so when did you realize, like, hey, this is where I'm going to focus my time? I'm going to focus on wrestling. I'm going to get better. Your folks decided to move across the Metroplex to get you into one of the better rooms there at Edmond North, not Metroplex, that OKC Metro, to get you into one of the better rooms, and you really hit your stride. I mean, obviously, finishing fourth as a freshman is a massive accomplishment. So, could you walk me through when that shift happened and what went into those decisions when you were super young still, going into 8th grade, 9th grade?
Yeah. So I think I remember the exact moment, and it happened. It wasn't really a long thought process or anything like that. It was it was the 8th grade, and I was at the state tournament watching with my dad. And the school I was going to go to, Norman North, was I don't think they had anyone in the state tournament. And me and my dad were already thinking about moving somewhere, but we were seeing Edmond North, and Edmond North had a difference between all the other teams. Like it was like, there were some good teams. There was Mustang, there was Stillwater, Bixby, Broken Arrow, these other teams, but they all had, juniors, seniors. But this Edmond North team, I think they had 9 or 10 freshmen place that year. And that was like, I don't know. And I had grown up wrestling with all those guys, and it just really pumped me up. And I was like, that's where I want to go. I want to wrestle with all these guys because I'm going to have these guys for the next 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just really exciting to me. And that was kind of where I made my decision to go there. And it was definitely a big choice. It wasn't easy because we made the move fast. My mom probably wasn't too happy about it, but, I think it's best. Me and my dad and my mom all agree, even though my mom wasn't a fan of it at the start, like it's best choice we've ever made. It completely changed me as a wrestler for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's really good. I mean, so then you were really a big part of that Edmond North powerhouse. I mean, they've spent 4 years there of just having some absolute slugfest with Stillwater in the in dual state and at the Hall of Fame duels and everything else. I mean, quite a rivalry, a heated rivalry at times.
Yeah, it
What?
got a little crazy for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And justifiably so in some ways, and in other ways, it's just heated. I mean, it's just that's what great competition does, right? I mean, we're seeing fruits of that already with what's going on between Oklahoma State and Penn State these past few months since the NCAA tournament. And yeah, y'all kind of had a similar deal here. So I guess coming up in that room and what really shaped you as a wrestler in that time? I mean, you had some great mentors and coaches, obviously at Edmond North, the rivalries, the competition. You and D Lockett had some real battles. You and I think a couple of current teammates at this point had some big battles there. So kind of walk us through your high school career.
Yeah, so my freshman year, I was kind of deciding, like I was still playing football, so it was kind of like I was I was committed to wrestling, but I wasn't all the way in. So my freshman year, I didn't finish the way I wanted. I got fourth, and I remember talking to my coach, who's a past Oklahoma State wrestler, Boo Llewellyn,
Mhm.
and I would say him and Andy Schneider are the big reasons where I really, really elevated my game. Like I think that summer I just because my problem was I was tough. I would wrestle hard. I wouldn't get very tired, but I just had no offense. So I just wasn't scoring in these big matches. So I'd be like, and every year in the state tournament, I mean, I had some tough matches. Like my freshman year, I lose to Jace Roller, who's a Division I wrestler now, and then my sophomore year, I had Kale Voinovich, who's also a Division I wrestler now. Me and him have wrestled maybe 12, 13 times. And I'm so grateful for those matches because losing my freshman year, me and Boo spent, I mean, every day of the week just helping me get better, really shape my offense. And like I committed so much that summer and like he always jokes around like I might be the only guy ever to win a Fargo title before I win a state title. Like, so my like course of trajectory was all over the place, but losing my freshman year, it made me a lot better. And I'm grateful for the losses, even though, it's not what you want at the time. It really helped me kind of open my eyes like, wow, I'm not anywhere near where I thought I was.
Yeah. Well, so then having Boo as a coach, and he's been on the podcast once now, and he is somebody who had to overcome a lot of adversity in his wrestling career. Um, how much did that help having that kind of experience in your corner and having him, maybe talk you through some of those harder moments?
Yeah, he was a great mentor in everything. Like you said, he overcame a lot of adversity, a lot of injuries, kind of dealing with that stuff. And whether you were injured or, had some performance anxiety, you're at the tournament, you're kind of getting nervous before a big match. Like having somebody like that who's been in all those moments, like that's huge. And, it's different than, some random dad in the stands on a tournament telling you, hey, just suck it up, right? Like this guy has been in it, wrestled through it. He wrestled under John Smith, one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Like he's done all this stuff, and just having someone like that. And what was even better is like the way I was trying to wrestle and the way I wanted to get to was similar to the way he wrestled. So like I think Boo going to Edmond North was just like perfect for me, and like everything lined up perfect. And yeah, just the experience he brought to the team for me and other guys was so awesome, and I couldn't be more grateful for it.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear. So, let's talk a little bit about your commute or your recruitment now. I mean, a couple of years ago, you become eligible, right? June 30th of 2024 hits, and you are in the thick of it, I'm sure. Being a top 20 guy, having all the accolades that you have, you haven't won a state championship yet, but you're getting attention from pretty much everybody, right? I mean, you had Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Iowa. Everybody was probably reaching out to you at this point, and ultimately you committed to Nebraska. Can you talk us through that initial recruitment phase and what ultimately made you choose Nebraska?
Yeah, so it was recruiting is one of the most interesting things, just the way that it happens. Like, you have schools reach out to you that you're like, wow, I had no idea this person would ever reach out to me. And it's just like a really surreal feeling, like meeting all these guys who had great careers and stuff like that. So like, long story short, I kind of narrowed down to my top 5 or 6. I kind of knew what I wanted pretty early. I wasn't really wanting to drag it out. I was planning on, kind of committing, getting it out the way. I didn't want to, drag it on any further than it was. So I think my top 5 that I got down to was Nebraska, OU, Iowa State, Ohio State, and Missouri. So I think that was my last 5 that I came down to. And for me, Nebraska, I can't speak anymore. Even though I'm here at Oklahoma State now, me leaving there had nothing to do with anything going wrong. I mean, those guys treated me with nothing but love and care, and it shows. I mean, look at their national tournament last year. They have an amazing staff, and those guys were great at. They really spoke about like building a team up, and they might not have the biggest recruits, but they train these guys and they get them ready for those big tournaments. And yeah, it clearly shows, like I said, like last year, and their future is great. And I connected really well with Coach Travell up there, Travell Delognev. He's an amazing coach, and I think he was the big reason for me. Me and him really connected well. And yeah, that's kind of where my decision came down to.
Well, I mean, yeah, they absolutely just consistently. I can't remember a year that they didn't qualify all 10 guys for the national tournament. I think this year might be one of the only times they haven't with their heavyweight. And then long tenured coach James Green came back, which would have been great for you. And then Nebraska just has a great history there. Lincoln's a fun town. Yeah, it's not. By no means is it a bad choice for any wrestler. And they did. This was the first year that I can remember that they really put everything together and just wrestled incredible at the national tournament. I mean, just normally it was like okay, well, yeah, they qualified a bunch of guys and they're highly seeded, but let's see, how they perform. And this year they really just crushed it.
Yeah.
But the coaching change happens at Oklahoma State. John Smith retires. David Taylor comes in, and within a few weeks of that happening, you flipped your commitment in spite of Oklahoma State not being in your top 5 initially. What prompted that?
Yeah. So I remember the exact night the rumors kind of started circulating that David Taylor was going to come to Oklahoma State. And I didn't really say it to anybody, but in the back of my mind, I was like, man, if that happens, like, I'm going to have some thinking to do for sure. And yeah, so the coaching change happens. I kind of started talking to my dad, and I hadn't said anything to him yet, but he was kind of messing around with me. He was like, "You're not thinking of doing anything, are you? None of that." And we're still allowed to go train up at the RTC. So I was like, I'm not going to do anything yet. I just want to kind of, go up there, train, see what it's about. My first practice, I came up, I wrestled with Coach Kennedy, and man, he put it on me pretty hard, and just being around those staff and the type of guys they were, I think it was amazing. And like that night I went home and I was like, yeah, like that's where I want to be. And I had wrestled, like Coach Taylor used to have the M2 program, used to coach there. So I had wrestled against him, across the corner. So we hadn't knew each other a little bit. And then, shortly after I started coming up in the RTC, they were really cool about it. They weren't, trying to recruit me, trying to flip me this or that. It was all my choice. And I kind of, I spoke to the Nebraska staff, spoke to Coach Taylor, and I was like, yeah, if you guys are open to this is where I want to be. And it was pretty easy choice for me. I say it took a while, but I look back, it was really only, he was here for maybe a month, I think, and I had decided. So yeah. And I wouldn't change the choice for the world.
That's great. That's great. So, that means too that Coach Kennedy felt something there that he wanted you to be a part of it, right? So that has to be pretty encouraging that conversations were had, and then when you expressed the interest, one thing led to another, and here you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess I'd like to learn more about the decision beyond, like, okay, new coaching staff, I really like it, I've been up here training, all this stuff. How much did the legacy and tradition of Cowboy wrestling factor into your choice? I understand that they had kind of left you off, or that you had kind of left them off initially, but did that, going up in the room and seeing all the national champions and all Americans, all that stuff, play into it at all? And then of course those folks coming back, and the atmosphere shift that happened in the room, did all of that play into it?
Yeah, you could definitely feel the shift in atmosphere. I think because I remember just whenever initially whenever John Smith had stepped down, I think it was the longest it was a really long time, I feel like, before they had gotten somebody else, if I can remember right. And it was just kind of like everyone was on the edge of their seat, like what's going to happen. And like you said, the culture of living in Oklahoma, like you go to any little league, wrestling tournament in Oklahoma, kids are going to have OSU on their headgear, and they're going to have, OSU shorts and Cowboy wrestling camps on their shirt. And I was the same way. Like I wanted to be an OSU wrestler growing up, just like I think every other kid really, really wanted to be. And initially in my recruiting process, it wasn't like something I had looked at too much. I just didn't spend a lot of time up there and building those relationships. But whenever the coaching change happened, and I could kind of feel an atmosphere switch, and it felt like you said, like Coach Kennedy, you could feel that he kind of wanted to wrestle with me and me pursue that option. I think it was like a no-brainer. Like I get to stay close to family. I get to wrestle for my home state. And like you said, like put an orange singlet on, that's like a huge honor that a lot of people don't ever get to do. And that's something I definitely wanted to do.
Amazing. Well, with that, let's talk about your transition now into college wrestling. So, over the past month or so since the US Open, what's the biggest adjustment that you've had to make now that you're a college wrestler? You're in the room, you're getting this D1 competition, you're probably wrestling daily with guys who have wrestled in the Big 12 tournament and the national tournament, have been in different rooms, have been kind of around the country, around the world. What's the adjustment been for you?
I would just say it's not like high school and, maybe you can wake up, not get much sleep, skip breakfast or something, just grab something to drink and go to practice. Like you got to be ready every day because and I think Coach Taylor has done a great job about it. Like he says, we're going to compete just about every day, whether it's just sparring or it's just drilling. Like we're trying to win whatever it is, and we're trying to compete. And I think that's something big that I'm getting better with too, is like it's not just practice. Like, okay, it is just practice, but we're trying to compete. We're trying to win. We're trying to win the day. We're teammates, but I want to beat this guy today. Like always competing, I think, is the big thing. Like high school, maybe sometimes it doesn't feel like that, but definitely in this room. And like you said, like guys that have, wrestled here, wrestled there, wrestled at this tournament, like, you're going to have to bring it every day or you're going to have a really, really, really long day. And you might just get embarrassed that day. So you definitely got to bring it.
With that, I mean, have you had that experience yet where you like, because a lot of guys talk about that, like Hardell Moore was the first one to really highlight it. But everyone, with the exception of maybe a couple of super exceptional guys like, Dayton Fix or um, they've talked about being the top dog on top of the world. You're one of the best in your room. But then you come into the room at Oklahoma State and you've quickly learned that you're not,
Yeah.
the top guy. Have you had that experience yet where somebody, maybe you trained with Dean Hamity or something, and I know y'all are a few weights apart, but where you're like, oh my gosh, like I got some work to do. Has that experience happened?
Yeah. It's funny you say Hamity, because that was the first one that popped in my head. It probably happened a week ago. If he sees this, he'll probably laugh at it. But it was really just one position. I could not finish a shot. I think I went an hour and a half practice without finishing one takedown. And I was frustrated at the time. I maybe got a little chippy. I might have hit him in the face a few times, but like that's just I think that's great for me. Like I said, going back to the last part, just that competing, that was awesome for me. Like if someone doesn't give you that feel, and then you go out in the tournament, you're never gonna have that opportunity. So when I have somebody who's like that, national champion, fighting for world team spots, like that guy is he's near the top of the mountain, and going with a guy like that and maybe getting my butt whooped a day, it's good for me. And so yeah, there's just positions like the hand fighting is very tough in college, and finishing takedowns is very tough. Guys aren't conceding points. We've been in the summer, we haven't gotten to do much top and bottom, but I'm knowing that's going to be a big transition as well. So yeah, I mean, I've had a few days where, guys get the better of me, and I think it's great for me. I'm growing from it, and I'm trying to get to the point where I'm the guy where, I'm giving the butt whoopings.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, and that's can't feel too bad, right? Like not many people took down Dean Hamity, and then I saw it the other day again, and I'm still just amazed that Keegan O'Toole got his leg up to his chest and couldn't take him down.
Yeah.
So I mean, no shame in that, right? Um, what's your approach to this first year as you are coming into it? You've always kind of projected around 157, 165 pounds, right? Those spots aren't exactly nothing on the roster is set in stone except for maybe 125 and 285. So having that perspective and having the knowledge that David Taylor is going to wrestle the best guy, or the person that puts them in the best position to win. What's your approach to heading into November?
The approach is simple, like you said. Like I'm not trying to sit around for a year. I'm ready to go. I want to be the guy. So that's the plan. Like whenever we first got here, like you said, we had talked to Coach Taylor, and me and him had a conversation. He was like, redshirting's never in the discussion. If it comes to that, then it happens. But like you should always be training like you're ready to go. Like you're going to be the guy. You're battling for a national championship this year. And like you said, like he has no intentions of redshirting guys and, waiting for a perfect year. And I don't think we need to do that. Our team is ready. I think we send our best guys out, we can go win a national championship. And I think that's my mindset. Whatever happens, but my plan is always going to be to go be the guy and go win a title.
Love that. I know that's going to get a lot of OSU fans excited. Just to steer a couple minutes off the mat. what's something that most people don't know about you? Do you have any hobbies or interest outside of wrestling, or um, what's something that would maybe surprise people about you?
That's a good question. My roommate Zach always makes fun of me because I get these weird hobbies and I get like really, really focused in on them. So right now the hobby is chess. I've been playing a lot of chess. Um, but really my biggest hobby right now has been my dog. I have a Doberman and she's a lot of work. So, during the day between practices, I'm spending most of my time, training her, doing stuff with her. And Zach's also got a dog. So we're definitely busy throughout the day. So it's good. But Coach Taylor's big on that. Like he's big. Like whenever we leave practice, like we need to have hobbies so we're not, constantly thinking of this, constantly thinking of this. We have other places to take our mind, and my dog's a big one for me.
That's good. Being busy keeps you with the dog, especially keeps you out of trouble too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Me and Zach, we're not getting in any trouble. We're wrestling or doing something with our dogs. So
that's good. That's good. What's your go-to opening chess move?
I've been trying to learn those, but I like the I'll go e4 and then I'll do the London. So I'll go with a bishop.
Hmm. Okay, I have no idea about rest or about
Yeah, I
well,
just started watching videos. I'm not any good if anybody wants to play me. I'm not very good at all.
I I said I don't know anything about wrestling. I think a lot of listeners might agree with that, but especially know nothing about chess. So
Yeah.
we'll leave
Me
it.
neither.
Um, but no, that's really good to hear. Who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
David Taylor.
David Taylor. Okay,
Easy.
wonderful. And what's your pre-match hype music?
I'm usually a no music type of guy. Um, I don't know. I feel like the headphones are always on my way, so I never really go headphones.
Okay, yeah, that's good. You live with your thoughts,
Yeah.
process those.
Yeah.
Um, who's your funniest teammate up there right now?
Zach Ryder probably.
Zach Ryder. Okay,
You can ask anybody on the team. He doesn't stop talking. So
yeah. Well, so is this a situation where him and Wyatt Hendrickson, you try to keep them separate, otherwise you're just going to talk to each other and talk over each other the whole time? And
that's a funny. Now that I think about it, I feel like I haven't seen them interact too much. I don't know how that'd go. That'd be a loud room.
yeah,
But yeah,
nobody else would be able to talk. It would just be those two.
yeah. Wyatt's a good pick too for funniest. He's pretty funny, dude.
Maybe throw a little Deuce head in there.
Yeah, for sure, Deuce. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I'm excited to see you out there this fall and spring. Um, as mentioned, that 157 spot. We talked to Teague Travis a couple weeks ago, and there's there's Landon Robideau, there's all kinds of options around the weight. So a lot of guys, that competition really raises everybody's boat, right? And then same for 149, same for 165. There's just a lot of great things to look forward to. For Cowboys fans, what would you leave them with here on this interview? What do you want them to take from this interaction today?
I hope everyone got to know me a little bit. I'm excited to get the season going in November, and I hope to meet everyone and wrestle, put on a good performance, and go win some national titles.
Awesome. Well, Kody, very confident that in your 4 or 5 years in Stillwater, that has a very real chance of happening, especially with guys like you coming into the fold. So really pumped up to see you out there, and really glad that you're a Cowboy. So I think that's the secret sauce for David Taylor and Company. Yeah, they're going to go get the best guys from all over the country, all over the world. But you got to draw a fence around your state and keep the best guys in it. And I know that Coach Kish and them at OU are trying to do the same thing. So
Yep.
I think that you reevaluating and staying with Oklahoma State is a really, really important thing for the future of the program and the future of Oklahoma wrestling. Right. I think that these kids and what Boo Llewellyn and what eventually Luke Serber and Caden Gefeller and those guys are going to try to do around Oklahoma City. They're excited to keep bringing up talent like you and in them. So great stuff, man. Thank you so much for the time. And like I said, looking forward to seeing you. And as always, go Pokes.
Go Pokes. Thank you.